Splatoon is well known for its colorful 4v4 multiplayer gameplay, so I went into the story campaign with extremely low expectations. What I found was a super solid, well thought out, engagingly fun single player surprise. Welcome to completion number 115 of the Potato Backlog project. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video for the splattiest splatfest of them all, the Tater Raider, and let's talk about Splatoon 3. Splatoon got its start on the Nintendo Wii U almost 10 years ago. It's a third-person shooter-style game with the gimmick being that you're using paint instead of bullets and explosives. Incredibly clever idea, and visually one of the most satisfying series out there today. Nintendo has supported all three games with DLC, and a strong multiplayer community has me thinking this will definitely not be the last we see of this franchise. Switch to Splatoon, anyone? Yeah, you do. Multiplayer as Splatoon is the main draw of the franchise. It gives the game its legs, brings people back, and is probably the funnest part of the game. While I did play some multiplayer for Splatoon 3, I'm not going to focus on that for this video. This is a backlog completion project, so I want to talk about how surprised I was with the single player story mode content. I don't even remember what single player content was offered in the first two games, because I was solely there for the multiplayer of those games back when they released. I honestly didn't even realize Splatoon 3 had a story mode until I saw my son playing it one day. Imagine my surprise to find out it's a fully realized 8 to 10 hour adventure with bosses, collectibles, and all sorts of crazy things. There's a hub world with a ton of levels connected, a story about mammalians trying to take over the world, an old grandpa, a bunch of weird hair, and about 1 million gallons of paint all mixed in. I appreciated the speed at which Splatoon 3 gets you into the action. There's a really quick tutorial off the hop, then the game drops you into a city hub where you can choose to chase an old grandpa down a sewer. Yes, you heard that correctly. Or you can wander off and get your multiplayer splat on. The story mode is started by chasing that old grandpa down the sewer. You end up on a mission to rescue him. You will get help from some other Inkling people and follow radio radar signals of where they think old Gramps is being held. The story mode world consists of 6 main areas of a larger map world. You're tasked with completing levels to collect eggs, which allow you to destroy hair gunk that will then give you access to more levels in other areas of the world. There is also an ability unlock system in Splatoon 3. You find and collect different items to unlock different paths of the ability skill tree. Unlock abilities include things like gun firing rate, the amount of paint you can hold, which is essentially ammo, how fast your paint fills back up, things that basically make your character more powerful. The weapon choices in the story mode are all fairly interesting, and there are things here that don't appear in the multiplayer modes. There's your basic machine gun style paint gun. These things all have in-game names that I couldn't be bothered to remember. I think it's something like Hero Gun or something like that. There are also sniper rifle and shotgun styles, a giant paintbrush, paint roller, giant paint hammer. It gets wacky and wild often in the world of Splatoon 3 story mode weaponry. Rounding out your arsenal is a secondary weapon in the form of some sort of grenade or paint bomb, depending on the items you currently have unlocked and equipped. A personal favorite of mine is the curling rock bomb, which is very Canadian of me, I know. Splatoon 3's story also gives you a little companion. I initially thought this was a tiny chicken. My son corrected me and showed me that it is in fact a tiny salmon, to which I theorized it might be a tiny chicken salmon hybrid, to which he responded by walking out of the room without saying anything else. Your little salmon chicken friend can also be used as a weapon or enemy distraction within the gameplay. This is also what you use to throw at the vulnerable parts of the gunk hair that you need to clear. Salmon chicken friend, strangely enough, also ends up being a very key player in the endgame of the story. No spoilers, but I felt like I was on acid as I played through the finale of this game. Splatoon 3's level designs were all pretty solid. There are main levels that you won't really be able to avoid playing through, and then there are a ton of optional side levels to unlock. Some of these include more trial-like approaches to their designs, stuff like paint the entire surface of this statue, destroy all the balloons in an allotted time, kill all the enemies, collect all the items, with the main levels being get to the end and kill things on your way. And some of the levels proved to actually be pretty challenging, so I was happy that lots of those harder ones were optional. As a gamer in my 40s, after dying 10 to 15 times on something, I want the option to just move on before I die. IRL. The boss sequences in Splatoon 3 were also great experiences. Nothing to write home about or make a JPTV boss ranking short over, but they were fun and they served the story well. Gameplay-wise, I enjoyed the unique challenges the game mechanics presented. Enemies shoot different color paint than yours, and this affects your abilities in different ways. The main effect is it has a hindrance of your movement options, so the challenge becomes trying to paint back over those areas with your own color while also avoiding damage and inflicting damage to the enemies at the same time, all while keeping an eye on your paint levels to make sure you aren't shooting blanks out there. I enjoyed the challenge, I enjoyed the silliness of the characters, the paint aesthetic and wacky worlds were interesting, and it was all just such a great change of pace for me in the games I'm usually playing. 4 happy potato faces out of 5. If you enjoy the multiplayer aspect of this game, this is probably an easy 5 for you. With that, the Backlog project rolls on. Be kind to yourselves and others that deserve it. We're on to the next one. Splat, 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 splat. But I felt like I was on acid as I played through the finality.